Okay. All right. This time I'm going to show the recent one that I have drafted for my proposal. So this is, I'm not saying that you have to do all these elements, but I'm going to show what is actually a written proposal mean. Yeah. So of course, all these informations are not required, but title, of course, required. Okay. So you can do the title last, as I mentioned in our discussion prior to this. You only need to think about the scope that you want to do, the problem that you want to solve, and in the end, you can um, modify the title by the end once you have done a bit of literature, once you have narrowed down your problem, and then objective, because the title should be okay should be representing your ideas, your solution. Yeah, because the title shouldn't be too general and it shouldn't be too specific. Okay. So what I'm showing is a bit complicated. After this, I'll be showing something a PhD student has done. So it's okay. I'm showing, even though it's complicated, it's quite easy to follow. So the word, you can see that what I'm trying to solve here is the issue of discrimination of viral strains. So we know about SARS-CoV-2, they are mutations, and the issue of mutations is for us, it makes us difficult to identify because this is the character of RNA virus. Okay, they tend to mutate. So how am I going to solve this? I am going to design and elucidate. So this is the choice of word. Okay. Um, when you are presenting proposal, especially when you are trying to get money, the word that you are going to put there plays a big role. Okay. So you want to impress the one that who's reading your proposal. So the words, yeah, plays a big role. So take your time to write the title. So usually we can improve the title throughout the proposal writing process. So no issue with this. You don't have to fix the title first and then write the proposal. So since what I'm writing is a fundamental, so that's why the word is fundamental, designing, elucidating. I'm going to show you another example, which is applied research. Yeah. So you can see from the title, I'm using what technique that I'm using to solve this issue of mutation, to detect the mutation, which is I'm going to use what we call as CRISPR and combined with isothermal RNA amplification. So I'm being very clear in my proposal that I am using two technologies, okay, which is CRISPR and RNA amplification, isothermal RNA amplification. So this is very important. When you finalize the title, it has to represent the idea that you want to propose. Same goes to thesis. When final thesis, the title should represent the whole idea, not too general, not too detailed. Okay. All right. So that's why you can see if I don't have any detailed strains in SARS-CoV-2, we already knew there are many strains of SARS-CoV-2 virus, but in here you can see I don't specify any strains, but I did specify the method that I want to use. Okay, so let me scroll through. Of course, this one is not needed for your presentation, for your written assignment, This one also research cluster not needed. Okay. Yeah, these are all just extra information that I have to put forward during presentation. Okay, during my proposal writing. Well, sorry. Okay. Now, when we discussed before, okay, you have the opportunity to look at, you should have present introduction. Okay, usually in research proposal writing, it is best to put the executive summary first. Okay, why I'm training you this, because most of the time the evaluator, okay, the one that who's going to evaluate you, yeah, most of the time they don't have time to scroll from beginning until the end. So what they are looking first is the executive summary. So as I mentioned before, executive summary is very important, and you can see the executive summary is actually uh, consists of all, yeah, the required element. You can see in executive summary should have problem statement, objective, research method, okay, expected output, and significance, impact of the research project. Okay, so usually, as I mentioned, in proposal writing, the executive summary, the words are limited. In this case, I don't remember, is it 500 or 1,000 word? I don't remember. Okay, since this is a final form. So you can see here that I stated here the issue of coronavirus. And the issue is if we are using RT-PCR, which is the gold standard, but that requires a proper lab infrastructure, time consuming, and can be cost. Of course, it is the cost is very high, and therefore limited use for rapid field diagnosis. Okay, and then I talk about the influenza outbreak. Okay, because after COVID, we have influenza outbreak. So the screening is getting more difficult. Both are RNA virus, but you're not sure whether you have influenza or you have COVID. So how are you going to do that? So I highlighted here, the two illnesses are caused by different viruses. Our goal is to design CRISPR-based biosensor combined with, okay, now I have presented my problem statement, which is the difficulty of using RT-PCR, one. The other one is the difficulty to differentiate different virus strain, influenza, and COVID-19. So I propose the usage of CRISPR and RNA. So that will be the method section. Okay, that will be the method section. If you remember the NABC, this will be the approach section. Okay, so my approach is using CRISPR and RNA amplification for possible on-site. So in this case, I'm addressing two issues at one time. If it is RT-PCR, you have to do it in the lab, but by using this CRISPR and isothermal amplification, I can do on-site screening, means that I can do the testing there and then. So I'm addressing the first issue, which is the RT-PCR issue. And with this with this CRISPR and sorry, with this CRISPR and the isothermal, it also enable me to discriminate viral strains. So means that you are actually having influenza or you are actually having COVID-19. Okay, or you probably have different because SARS CoV coronavirus, there are quite a number of coronavirus. The one that attack us was named SARS coronavirus 2. Yeah. So it's quite difficult to discriminate this virus strain. So I'm addressing two problems at one time by using this approach. And again, in research method as well, I put there the study will involve designing. So I'm clearly telling the whoever reading the proposal that the scope of work is designing and to combine with isothermal amplification. And then once the completed design is optimized, the scheme will be incorporated into electrochemical sensor system. So this is, I'm telling the reader that this is what I'm going to do. Okay, so you have to be clear in research proposal. What are your solutions? What are your approach? And the research approach also will be covering which part, because you're not going to do from A to Z. It's impossible. And the other one is people need to evaluate you based on the scope that you proposed. Yeah. All right. So now the last part, which is expected outcome and the significance. Okay, it is expected that the sensor system can be used for mass screening. So this is what my team imagined, that is going to be used for mass screening. And due to its user-friendly steps, okay, less time, okay. So this is the significance output or the outcome. It should be user-friendly, less time consuming, sensitive, and capable of discriminating between different strains. And then with the possibility of portable sensor, the mass screening and home-based tests are possible, and this will definitely can be an advanced step in controlling spreading of disease. So this is the significance output. Okay, by doing mass screening and on-site, so you can control the spreading of the disease in future, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so you can see that I have covered, hopefully from your view, the problem statement, the objective, the approach, which is the research methodology, and the expected outcome. Okay, so as I mentioned in executive summary, usually the words are limited. Okay, so it might be just 500 or 1,000 words, but you have to make use of it. Let's say you want to put statistical information, then put it there. So you have to really play with words, but then use the words properly so that it will gain interest of the reader. So let's say I'm the evaluator. If I read through this, then I, understand, okay, this is something very important. Then I proceed to the rest. If I read, okay, this is not important, so this is very lame proposal, then, as a reader, I will just keep this proposal. That's it. Okay. Right. If you have question, please just stop me. Yeah. So I hope that you now understand the executive's summary. Okay, you don't have to do hypothesis, research questions. Okay, you don't have to do that. And yeah, you have to do literature review. Okay, so so we have discussed a lot on literature review. So literature review should cover all whatever scopes that you want to cover. For example, you want to talk about COVID-19. So there are some information on COVID-19 here. And since I'm using approach on CRISPR, so there are informations on CRISPR, why CRISPR is very important, why CRISPR can solve the problems. So it has to be evidence in your literature review. And then why I need another one, which is the amplification steps, okay? Because in RNA virus, okay, or DNA, for those who are working in microbes, it has to be amplified before we can do the detection. So without amplification, it cannot be used on site. So here we propose, I'm using we because it's a teamwork, not myself only. We propose a combination with amplification. So you can see that it is also here. So all that in the scope is in the literature review, has to be told in literature review. Okay, so in literature, you can put table, okay? You can put information because you want to convince people how good your approach is. So don't limit yourself, okay? You can put, it's like telling people you want to sell something. I don't know, some of you might be doing business. And we have discussed about NABC. So you want to convince people about the benefits, right? So you need to put all the information about the benefit as well. So I'm using about this. I'm talking about the sensitivity, what people have done using CRISPR. And then it is important. Okay, just a moment, yeah. Okay, it is important for you to use this kind of diagrams. Diagrams. You need to express it in I think I have shown you a graphical abstract. Yeah. So you need to use graphic as well. Okay. It is very important to use graphic because it's human being. When we look at just words, it's difficult to understand. But if you can make it into graphics, regardless of how you want to do it, it is more, easier for people to understand. So this is the skills, okay? You need to use graphics. Just a moment. So this is a skill that you have to develop. If you already have a good graphic skill, then it's fine. But if you still struggling with your graphic, then you have to do it. This is useful for you even in future, right? Okay, right. So graphics, the use of graphics is of course very important in your proposal writing. So it does not limit you only to words. You can use graphic, you can use table, you can put in figures, statistics, all the things that you can think about to convince the reader. Okay. Right. So now the literature review is done. Okay. We move on to the objective. All right. My proposal was rejected because they are not happy. They are not happy with the list of references. I was short of time to screen the references. So it's not fair. It took me, a lot of time to write, but it was rejected during the screening. Okay, so as I mentioned before, I have shown you the objective. So in objective, usually we can write this way. One is the main objective or the general objective or the aim. Yeah, this is what you want to develop. This is what you want to achieve for the whole project. So this one usually related to the title back. And you also have specific objective because this one give the reader an idea what you want to do. Okay, what you actually want to do during your research, during your master, during your PhD. Okay, so the first one that you want to achieve, for example, in my case, I want to achieve to the design because this is very important for me. If I fail to get the design, to design the CRISPR, then the whole thing will not be applicable. Okay, so the design, and then after that is to modify the electrode because I'm using electrochemical sensor. And then after the whole thing is ready, the design of the CRISPR and the RNA embedded on electrochemical sensor, then I'm gonna do the characterization of the combined system. And of course, the last one is to test on the reliability of the detection method. Okay. So I think most of you has heard that when you are putting specific objective, it has to be measurable. So the word measurable for me is relative, okay? Because sometimes people, okay, usually the word like to study is not measurable. To understand is not measurable, okay? So as I mentioned, the word is relative. So here I put to design. So what is measurable from here is by the end of this objective, I should have a design. I should have uh, an optimized design of CRISPR. Means that yeah, I should have a model. Okay, and by third objective, I should have a good electrode being modified. Okay, so when you design the objective, you should thinking about the end, what you want to achieve. So it is measurable. So if you don't get a good modified electrode by the end, so the measure is you don't achieve the objective. So that is what being measured. Okay, when I put characterize, some people say, what is characterization measurable? Well, in those who is in this field, my field, for example, there are certain sets of characterization. Okay, so depends on you. You also know, okay, let's say you are doing drug quality control. So you should know what are the parameters that you it should be doing, right? So those are the things. When I mention characterize, I don't have to spell out. Okay, I have to do GCMS, I have to do FTIR or whatsoever. But it is understandable, it is understood that people in this field who are reading the proposal, what kind of characterization. So you don't have to spell out. Okay. To test the ability, okay. Again, the word ability here. For those who are working in sensor, for example, they by right should have understood when I mentioned the ability. So there are certain sets of parameter, okay, that give you the meaning of ability. So which is measurable. If you achieve that ability, then it's good. If you achieve that, if you have done all the characterization sets, then it's measurable. Then it's, considered successful. Okay. So if you have questions, then please ask. Okay. So it is always something people ask. Is your objective measurable? If your objective SMART, yeah, SMART. For me, my answer is, yeah, it is based on your understanding of the word, because you don't want to really detail out the objective. Okay, because objective is an objective. It is not research activity. You don't want to tell people like, you to do GCMS, to do FTIR. That is research activity, not objective. Okay, so I hope that you can make sure that you can understand the difference. Yeah, to do things is activity, but to get something, to aim something is the objective. Yeah, so the word, the choice of word is very important. Now, so in literature, in proposal, this is very important, description of methodology. So methodology is required, yeah, in your written proposal. So I don't know, this is what my approach, I always use this approach, is to couple the research methodology with the objective. Okay, so let's say my first objective is to design the CRISPR. So in methodology section, usually it's easier for me to put it here, to design. So I put it here, to design. And under the first objective, I can have a clear proposal, methodology section, telling the reader of how I'm going to do the lab work. Okay, how am I going to do the protocols or whatsoever? So this two is covering the first objective. Okay. Yeah, very difficult. Okay. You can choose to have actually during proposal stage. Okay, during proposal stage for PhD or for master, you can choose to be a bit general. It's okay. This one you can see that I'm a bit too detailed. Yeah, because this is grant proposal. They are very, what do you call, because we are asking money, so they would like to see what are your materials that you want to use. So that's why I'm putting the method section in very detail. But in your case, you can avoid that detail. You can just be very a bit general, but at least covering what you are going to achieve for your objective. Okay, all right. And it should be future tense, like will be. Okay. You can see that I'm using a wrong tense here. Probably that's one of the reason they reject my proposal. So it should be future tense, will be used, will be, and those kind of tense, yeah. So it should be will be incubated, will be, yeah. So don't make the same mistake as I am. Okay. All right. So you can see that like okay. So this is the second objective, isothermal RNA designing. All right. So it should be like this, yeah. Will be determined. The use of will be. Yeah, because it's future. It's not yet being carried out. Okay. And you can see now I have the third objective to modify the electrode. So this section is covering the protocols or the method under the third objective. Okay. All right. And then yeah, it should be the rest. Okay. All right. Okay. So I think we have covered all. But if it is written proposal, which is not actually required by me, okay, but I'm just going to share with you, which is good. In, let's say you want to propose for money, is for you to guide it with milestone, because if you are doing research and then you are in very limited time, or you are answering people because you are working for some people, you need to have milestone. When will be the first milestone, or when will be the first objective achieved? Okay. And what is the milestone? Means that the indicator that the first objective is achieved, the second objective is achieved. So milestone is very important. Okay. And then you need to know, of course, about your timing. That's why developing a proposal is like planning your life. Okay, when you want to achieve, okay, for example, the first milestone that I want to achieve is I'm going to get a good design of CRISPR-RNA. So I expect I'm going to achieve in what, 6 months? Okay. And then the second milestone that I will get a good design of the RNA primers for the amplification purpose. So you can see that in my uh, Gantt chart, okay, it does not necessarily uh, one after another. Means that you can see that the CRISPR design and the RNA design is concurrently going on. So you can do that. I mean, you can do both. So this is more practical there rather than you achieve something and then you after that you do something. It's not really practical. You can do both at one time. Okay. Now you can see the third objective. So the the milestone is the material for modification of electrode will be prepared and characterized. Okay. So you can see I start the process before even the first two objectives end. Okay, you can do that. Yeah, you didn't have to be on the dot and then the second one and then the third one. It can be done concurrently. All right. Okay. So this is what we call as milestone. Some of you probably very familiar with it, but it has to tell people. The function is to tell people because they need to evaluate you. Okay. So during the third milestone, what you should achieve. So this is important because when you are to present progress, okay, let's say, when you are to present your progress, you only have to present based on milestone. You don't have to present based on the, let's say you are doing your second progress, for example. Yeah. So your second milestone is for RNA design. So you just have to present RNA. You don't have to worry about the rest. Even you don't have to present the first milestone because you have presented before. Unless you haven't, then you can combine both milestone in one presentation. Okay, so this is to guide you, okay, what to present during your progress presentation. So if you are doing PhD in UPM specifically, you have to propose, you have to present progress, and you have to present a final. There are 3 steps. But for your master dissertation, only proposal and final. So this is for you to use in future. Okay, so milestone is very important. If you can engage this, then it is much more useful. So this is Gantt chart. All right. This one is not really important for you. All right. So I'm going to skip to flow chart. Okay. So flow chart is another important thing that you can use in your proposal writing. I'm not going to impose this, but I mean, you can practice using this. So this is one important element in proposal writing. So if you can design a flow chart showing that the whole process of your research. Let's say you can see here if inconsistent means if it is fail or if it's not up to the standard, then you have to repeat the steps. If it is consistent, then you go forward. I'm not good in designing flow flow chart, but it is required. It is very good if you can do if you can practice writing flow chart. Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. So now I'm going to move. Right. This is what we call as fundamental research project, okay? But I'm going to show you another example of fundamental, and it is written by a PhD student. So stop share this one. All right, I haven't. Hmm. So I hope that you can see the MS words, okay, right? With the title of nanomolecular imprinted polymer, okay, correct screen? Yeah, okay. So this is written by PhD student. That's why I hope that it matches more on your yeah. Still, the format is similar. Let's scroll through. Okay, so all right. So a similar structure. We have executive summary. Okay, you can see that I should have a problem statement here. So the problem is penicillin issue. There is penicillin allergy among us. So in pharmaceutical manufacturing, sometimes there is an issue of contamination of non-penicillin drug with penicillins that might interfere with the allergy issue of, for those who consume the non-penicillin drugs. Okay, so here you can see that it's a bit less complicated proposal. So here the approach is using imprinted polymer to design a sensor for penicillin in pharmaceutical product. Yeah. We propose method to prepare marker for penicillin for selective monitoring of contamination of penicillin in non-penicillin pharmaceutical product. And the output is it is expected, yeah, that propose is able to bind. Okay, this one. Okay. Right. We can scroll through. All right. Research background. This is part of the literature review. The information about penicillin and the methods being used to detect penicillin, the issues. So the normal things that we have discussed. Okay. My old eyes, it's difficult for me to. So it's good to actually divide it into paragraph. Okay. All right. Okay, you don't have to do this hypothesis or what, but it can be in the same the same introductions. Okay, so now it's the literature review. Okay, so as usual, you put all the necessary things inside the literature, and it's good to have diagrams. Okay, to enhance the understanding of the reader. Okay. References. Okay, objective. Okay, this is totally from the students, yeah, from the PhD students. Okay, you can see the word optimize, specificity. Okay, so this is the method section. So it's good using will be synthesize. So you can see that the student is using the approach of combining the objective with the procedures. Then milestone. Yeah, I think that's it. So one thing that I didn't show you is the risk. Okay, I think we have it here. Okay, this is the Gantt chart. The flow chart. Okay, so I don't have here is the risk assessment. Okay, so please do that. Okay, the risk assessment. I can show you an example after this. I will share a screenshot of a risk assessment if I can find the example. Okay, so I think if there is any questions before, I'm going to show one last example. And the next 8 to 9 session will be a new topic, which is thesis preparation. Thesis, because it's already week 7, then we need to move on to from proposal to thesis writing. Yeah. Okay, one last. What? All right. Okay, so this is an example of applied research. Okay, so this is a prototype, means that now it's no longer fundamental, it's more towards prototype. Okay, so probably you're doing a second phase of research after you have done your fundamental study. So now you can see the word is no longer development or it's no longer designing, it's already at the prototype level. Okay, the title you can see. So I'm going to go through very fast. Okay, same goes. We need to have executive summary, so similar. Okay. We have problem statement, working principles, advantage of the solution. So actually it's quite similar to, it's just that the word used now is more practical because it's applied research. And then research background. You can see that I quote MPOB because the one that I want to solve is related to palm industry, plantations. So you can do this. You can quote our reports from our local institutions. And so I'm using ENO. So this on ENO's informations, references, and then some diagrams, very important because I'm doing prototype. So I have to be very clear what prototypes that I want to develop. All right, so problem statement, okay. Yeah, it's quite easy. Most developed require sample to be brought back to the lab. So I'm going to propose a portable sensor, ENOS. So it was very detailed prototype development, applied application, but it was rejected as well. Right, objective, okay. Now you can see the word fabricate because it is prototype, yeah, to test, to fabricate, to do the things, yeah. to improve the designs and description of methodology. Same Gantt chart. I think I'm trying to show if there is a risk management. Yeah. So this is risk assessment. Yeah. So risk assessment. This is a simple thing. You just like I highlighted here. There is a medium level of risk in technical. Due to the suitability and design of software, whereas timing and budget will have low risk in this project. So you can talk about it in more detail, okay? But this is a very good approach that you need to tell people the risk. Yeah, you need to tell people about the risk. So technical means that the science of it. So there be some technical risk, but the timing, since it is 2 years project, so the timing should be okay. And the budget, if you think that it covers all the materials, then the budget is okay. So this is what we call as timing, risk assessment. This one, because this is prototype, you have to put some marketing plan, but this is not required for you. All right. Okay, so I think we should have a break. So for the second one, I'm going to share you because I think I forgot to put it in the Putra Blast on the thesis writing. So I'm going to share with you the thesis slide, means that how to write thesis slide in WhatsApp. Yeah, but we're not going to discuss that first. We are going to discuss a bit on slides. Okay. I know that most of you are good in doing slides, so I'm just showing an example of some good slide and some not so good slide. Okay, after this. Okay, take a break. Thank you, everybody.
Prof, can I ask a few
Yes,
quick
yeah,
questions?
yeah.
Okay. In your the first two proposal, I didn't see any problem statement. You did not show much on problem statement, but on the last proposal you shown, so it must be included, right, Prof? Before
Yeah.
so research, it must be included, right?
Yeah, because I put the problem statement. Let me, the first one, yeah. Is it?
I
The
think the first two I didn't see much on the problem statement. You straight away went to objective after the literature.
wait. Let me, is it on the COVID?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, let me go back to that. Okay. It is here. Maybe I didn't show properly.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah.
Okay. Then, Prof, in terms of
mm,
literature review, is there any
mm.
like words limitation, or we can just like as many as we can, as much as we can for the literature review?
What I can say is the one that relevant to your problem. I mean, it is enough to convince people. It's not supposed to be from sea to sky. Everything you want to put, no. But for me to limit, it's not possible. But for depends on what is the scope of your research. Yeah,
Okay.
as long as it is enough. Okay. All right. Okay. So take a break. Yeah. Okay. Bye. See you at Okay, I'm going to show you example of slide. Okay, and the slide is maybe you can view the element of proposal in the slide as well as together with progress. Yeah? Okay, so I'm not saying that this is good, this is the best, but uh, just a guide. Okay, so I'm going to show you one example of not so good slide. Okay, so basically, yeah, this is what should be in the slide. So my view on slide preparation is you have to keep it simple. Don't be too colorful because that actually distract the reader. Sorry, the audience. So you just keep it simple and clear because the purpose of slide is to help you not to have the attention on the slide, but to help you remember during your presentation. And one thing about slide is you have to know to manage the font size because the font size is very important. That's why you have to rehearse, you have to look at your presentation because if you choose a wrong font size, it might really be interfere with the readers or the audience, and it can be very irritating actually. All right. Right. Now you are to present, of course, the introduction, the background study. So if you choose to have only words, uh, one point, second point, all words will be very boring. Okay. So the use of graphics is very important. So as I mentioned before, it is very important for you to be able to produce graphics. So if you are not capable, start studying, start uh, polishing up your to polish your skills in doing graphics. It is very important. Okay, it's not for you just to pass this course, but for your future. Okay, you need to do graphics, and now you have a lot of apps, so many apps that you can use to do graphics. Yeah, so it's not like you have to do from scratch. You can use a lot of software and apps to do graphics. Okay, so when you present, of course, you start to bring the case. Okay, talk about the problems. So you highlighted some cases, some statistic. Okay, and then if in this case the student is doing something on dengue, so you highlighted the issues. All right, so now you can see that this is the one that you want to tell people, but of course please don't read your slide, you tell them the story. This is for you to this slide is only to help you. You need to uh, be very well versed in telling the story by your heart. You need to tell them. You need to tell them. So this is just something that helps the viewers. Okay. And you can see that the color in your slide plays a big role. So you want to point out dengue fever. So you can see the color is different. You want to you want to point out the statistical of the cases. So these are skills. Some of you are very good, probably. Yeah, I know that some of you are very good already. Some of you might be struggling, but these are very important. You need to improve the skills and arranging the facts on the slides also is very important for people to have the flow of your story. Okay, so this is something that you have to develop. Okay, not too much colors. And if you're using colors not too striking. And now, since this is, you want to highlight, in this case, the candidate, the person want to highlight his innovation. So now he is trying to point out the issue of the standard technique in diagnosing dengue, a proper one, in the lab. So blood samples requires PCR, and then there is a need of electrophoresis. So he highlighted the issue, okay, of the existing techniques. So he then provided a solution. Okay, so you can see if it is a proposal, it is quite similar to proposal. A presentation, you start with your background, presenting the problem, the significance of your issues and whatnot. And then is the problem statement, why this is needed, and this is your solution. And your solution is trying to answer the gap of the current situation. So remember, it's not always just text. Okay, the use of graphic is very important. So you can imagine this is sort of graphical abstract. Yeah, it's telling about the whole story of what is actually the research all about. Okay, and next one, it goes into detail because now you want to tell, you want to innovate in the terms of more specific invention. Yeah, just now is quite general. This person is doing something to improve the current technique. Okay, and he proposed electrochemical. Okay, so when he proposed electrochemical, of course, in academic line, yeah, we're talking about academic, not about business. It has to be a bit of academic approach. So what is about electrochemical sensor that the candidate wished to improve? Okay, so of course, the one who's doing the proposal understood well. So usually in electrochemical sensor, the issue is about sensitivity. We want to improve the sensitivity. That's the purpose of having sensors, portable sensors. And in order to match the benchtop instrument, the usual instrument that you use in the lab, it has to be the same standard. I mean, it has the same sensitivity, selectivity. So in order to do that, he proposed the incorporation of nanomaterials. So now you see that he proposed in order to improve the sensitivity, he proposed a few nanomaterials. So you can see the flow from general to more detail. Okay, and introduction on the nanomaterial itself. Okay, what is the characteristic? So this is known literature. This is known facts about the nanomaterial that he has chosen. Gold nanoparticle, why he chose gold nanoparticle, then that should be presented as well. And why silicon nanowires also should be presented, the purpose of using that nanomaterial. Okay, in this case, you can see that he's trying to highlight the novelty, because in academic, if you are presenting for master proposal, if you're presenting for PhD proposal, novelty is important. Okay, so he's trying to highlight that the usage of silicon nanowires has not been explored at that time. Now is more than that. So why and then of course again the special characteristic of silicon nanowires to be used in this kind of approach. So it is presented here because it is applicable for immobilization of DNA and whatnot. Okay, this is quite specific. Okay, and now I think it should be enough. Okay, actually for you to present the problem statements and your approach. Okay, let me jump. Okay, I don't have the, let me, okay, all right. So what is lacking in this slide, because this is actually a progress, what is lacking is a proper literature review. Okay, so I will show another slide after this. Hopefully it's there. A literature review slide. Okay, right. So please remember that we have not, I have not shown you the literature review slide. Okay, now I jump to the objective because this is a progress report. Yeah. So when you're presenting objective or proposal, be very clear about the aim. So this is the aim, which is the general objective. And then be very clear about the specific objective. We have discussed about specific objective. And the words chosen to prepare, to enhance, to optimize, to evaluate. So what I like about this slide is it's not really fancy. I mean, it's just blue color and black color. So but it's nice for you to look at. I mean, the proportion of the font and the way that he highlighted the blue color is nice, and it's very clear. You don't have to like put a lot of pictures in one slide, but be very clear what are the points that you want to present to the audience. Okay, so these are skills for you to do. Okay, now once you have the problem, the objective, okay, we move on to the approach, which is the methodology section. Okay, so again, as I mentioned before, it does not have to be in slide. Yeah? I'm talking about in slide, not in written form. In written form, I have presented just now. So in slide, for methodology section, you can use graphics. Okay, you can use graphic. You don't have to use point by point, like a mixture containing solution. No, you can use text incorporated into graphics. You can see that all the steps are there. Yeah. And this is much more, easier for the audience to understand rather than all in a form of text. Okay. So this also very important skills. Okay, you need to know how to do this, especially if you're working in chemistry. All the chemical structures has been properly drawn, okay, using proper software. These are all things that you need to learn. So you can see the first, the method, okay, is related to the objective. Okay, so the first objective is to prepare a gold nanoparticle and silicon nanowire modified electrode. So you can see that this slide is the fabrication of that, how to fabricate that gold nanoparticle silicon nanowire modified electrode, but in graphic forms. Okay, so it's much more interesting, yeah, to present it in a graphic form. So this is the first objective. And then you look at the second objective is on the probe loading, which is a DNA. Okay, so he presented also in a form of graphics. So all the steps are here. Okay, so it's easy for you to explain, especially you want to talk about the chemistry. The chemistry is there already. So it's easier for you to present. And then the third objective is preparation of the material, the nanomaterial. Okay, this is talking about the nanomaterial. Okay, this is the detail probably. He wished to talk about the characterization. So here he mentioned about the characterization will involve surface morphology, means that you have he proposed the method to use FISAM, HRTEM. So you don't have to spell out FISAM, HRTEM, but it is surface morphology, including EDEX, okay? And then you group them, composition elements. So it's understood in composition elements, you use EDEX or XRD probably. So you don't have to spell out the XRD or whatsoever. Functional group. So here you understand that you might be using FTIR, okay? Or you can put also spectroscopic analysis, which is involve UV, fluorescent. So you group them together under characterization. So you don't have to be very, very specific, okay? Stating the GCMS, FTIR, no, you can group them, okay? All right, now, the other one, okay, this is the detail of characterization of the DNA loading. So you can see it is not supposed to be very specific, like 0.5 mil, 2 grams. So you just have to spell out the what you want to do. For example, for DNA hybridization condition, these are the conditions that you want to study. Okay, you don't have to specify even what type of buffer, type of salts, concentration. No, it's not needed. Yeah. And this is, as I mentioned just now, if you are working in that particular field, you understand the meaning of the parameters. It is understood, it is selectivity, sensitivity. I mean, the one that is evaluating your proposal understood, because usually they are among, the audience will be based on that particular expertise. Yeah. So I have told you, whenever that you want to present, you have to study who's the audience. If it is the audience is scientist specific to that particular, then you know he or she is going to understand the terms. Okay, so that's the method section. And then you can see this is the last objective, is to evaluate the whole thing on the real sample of dengue. Okay. And now you can see as well, because I'm showing you is the progress report. So there'll be some results. Okay. So I would like to also point out results are also based on objective. Because we know objective also related to milestone, and result as well related to milestone. So it is related to objective. So it is very important whenever that you need to present a progress. Yeah, whenever that you need to present a progress, be very clear to the audience that you are covering which progress. Okay, you might present the whole objective of your research. Let's say you have 4 objectives just now, right? But you don't have, because you are presenting progress, so you only have the result for the first objective, for example, or you only have results for the first and second objective. So you have to tell the audience that you are currently presenting these 2 only. The rest has not been done. Okay, if not, then the audience might confuse. You don't have, you cannot expect them to actually listen to you or get what you present 100%. So you must be very clear about your presentation. So now in here, let's say you want to present the results from objective 1 and objective 2. Let's see. Okay, so because objective 1 is on the preparation of electrode, yeah, and it is stated here that you have proposed the study of surface morphology, composition elements, functional groups, and electrochemical behavior. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 types of characterization that you have proposed. So the results should also contain all those. Yeah. Okay, you have surface morphology and you have elemental analysis. The element in that, on that electrode. So whatever that you are saying must be evidence. You cannot have like, you propose different thing, but there's no results. You propose nanomaterial, but there's no FISAM, there's no HR10. So how are you going to how are you going to prove that you are actually working with nanomaterial? So your results must make sense of what your objective, or must make sense of what you want to achieve. Okay, so in this case, you are proposing the incorporation of nanomaterial on top of the electrode. So it must be evidence in the results. So in this case, based on the surface morphology, which is FISAM, okay, and then there's some elemental analysis. So it is evidence that on top of the electrode, there is silicon and there is gold, which is what you have proposed and what you have done. So if it is evidence, then you have achieved the milestone. Okay, so let's say your result does not show any gold, any silicon, then you have to repeat it. Or you have to like, think back, okay, what I should do, or there's something wrong somewhere. So these are all about research. It has to be evidence. So you cannot just claim you have achieved, but there is no evidence. All right. Now, you remember about the elemental, the surface morphology, and the electrochemical behavior. So this is the electrochemical behavior part that he proposed to carry out. So now he has the analysis, he has the results, as well as you have to do the analysis. So when you present progress, it's not just about presenting raw data, you have to present the analysis as well. Okay, so you can see that the analysis is on the current. So from here, you know what you want to achieve. So here is when you incorporate the nanomaterial, you achieve increment. Yeah, you achieve increment of current. Okay, so that is what you want to achieve actually, is when you put in nanomaterial, the current increase. So this is the evidence. This is the evidence. From bare, okay. Here, one thing is missing, is the legend. This is explanation, but the legend on the color. So you can see there's something missing here. I don't think, yeah. Then it should be here. The color should tell you. I think it's missing around here. But he's trying to tell using arrow. So bare electrode means is unmodified electrode. And now it is evidence that with the usage of nanomaterial, the current has been increased. Okay, so it is evidence now. Okay, the evidence is quite clear, and you can do some analytical calculation, how much is being increased in terms of percentage, and those things can be calculated. Okay, now next one. Again, this is electrochemical analysis. Okay, so I'm not going to detail out. So you have to analyze the results and tell the story. So you can see now the usage of error bar, meaning that you have to do replicates and you have to present the analysis. Okay. All right. Okay. These are some parameters being studied and the analysis of the results. And he also used, I did mention some of you in statistic class, the use of RSM, the use of RSM. You can see that when he needs to study a lot of parameters at one time, okay, then the use of RSM is very important. All right. Again, back to the those who are doing statistics subject. You can see the plot is very important. And another one is I would like to point out the usage of color must be very distinguished means that you are able, the viewer are able to distinguish the difference in colors. Don't use colors that is difficult for people to to distinguish the difference. So these are things, common sense that you need to do. All right. Okay. The use of highlighting some results. Okay. And then you put the explanation. Okay. This one is also very important skills. Conclusion, recommendation, because okay, this is all right. So I'm going to show you one more. So this is Viva slides. Since it is in a form of PDF, so it has to be like scroll down. Okay, so this Viva means that it is a final presentation. So yeah. So actually, when he did, when you presenting Viva or progress, this student do this way. So it's actually very, very useful because you can skip. Let's say if there is question on problem statement, so you can skip back to the. I don't know how he did this, but yeah, it's a link actually. So it's very user friendly to do this. Okay. So it's good. Yeah, if you can do sort of link, so you can skip to the previous slide, or you can jump to the next slides easier, because sometimes you have question, or sometimes you need to explain, you need to go back to the previous slide. So if you do this, it's actually very user friendly. So this one I have explained the use of graphics on introduction. Introduction again, less text. And then the problem statement also, it is presented in a form of graphics, but of course with proper explanations. And literature review, not yet literature review, still a problem statement. Still in problem statement. So the issue is on the usage of multiple biomarkers in this case. Okay, so when you are presenting literature reviews, okay, in a slide form, I'm not talking about in a written form, in a slide form, so you have to do a proper table, okay, and you have to highlight what are the things that you want to tell people, because you don't present it in a slide and then you read it. No, you have to highlight, tell the people what you want to talk about. Yeah, it's not reading. It's not reading the slide. Is you have to tell the viewers. All right. So when you are presenting literatures in slide form, you don't have to talk a lot, but to highlight things. It is different when you are presenting literature reviews in a written form. Okay, so please make sure that you understand the difference. Presentation of literature review is different, whereas writing it in a written form is different. Yeah. All right. Then again, yeah, objective. Experimental design is of course the research methodology section. Here he combined the use of graphic and he shows the link with objective. All right. And the results are all in graphical form. He's very good in graphics. You can see the statistical analysis. It is there. Results again. And then you can see, oops, this result related to objective 1. Okay, so make sure that it is to make sure that the viewer understand that he's working on objective 1 and this is the results. Highlighting the results as well is very crucial. Still in objective 1. Okay, objective 1. You can see the proportion of the figures. Just nice. Yeah? You can see it is small, but it is you can still view it properly. Okay, this one also. So the proportion of the figures in the slides are very important. This is objective 2. Okay, I just scroll through. All right. This is the usage of statistic. A lot of he's using statistic here. Detection limit, limitations and recommendations, and of course the final conclusion. Okay, so this one as an example of these two, I consider example of goods good slides presentation. I also have example of not so good slides. Let me show you. Okay. Just a moment. Okay, you can see even from the beginning. Yeah, the use of font. Yeah. What I can say is, I don't know. When you look at it, it's not nice. The use of font. Sometimes it's too big. What he wants to introduce is just the introduction. I don't know. So, in a viewer's point of view, is can be irritating, can be an eyesore. Yeah. So this is something that you need to avoid. That's why I'm saying the use of font and the size of font is very crucial. So to make it more presentable. Yeah. Uh, if you look at the second slide, of course, no graphics, and it's quite boring, and it does not capture your eyes. If the viewers has to strain their eyes to look for the information, then it's not going to be interesting. Yeah. So you must be able to point out the information to the viewers. If you have cut and paste also, you can see that this is too big. Yeah. And the text here is not nice. It's not properly arranged in a slide. So, and this is the method section. This is what I talk about just now, that you don't have to make it very detailed up to this level. And even it is up to this level, it's not, it's I don't know, it's not interesting at all. Yeah. You can see suddenly this font is too big. I don't know for what purpose it is too big. And this whole um, picture is also too big. And suddenly you have one graph, one bar chart, and a very big font for the caption. So, these are something that you need to, yeah, the index so big. I don't know. This is the 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 calculation based on the electrochemical just now, but you can do better than this. Okay. All right. So one thing, another thing that I would like to highlight is the choice of uh, ways of you presenting. So in this case, let's say you are talking about different type of buffer, okay, and you only have 3 buffers, and you want to say that the evaluation will be on the current base, mean which buffer will give you the best current. From my point of view, you don't need to have bar chart because it's just 3 buffers, and you can present it in text form, which is much more presentable, and you can do the analysis much better. So this is not needed. So you have to know when to use bar chart, when to use graph. Yeah, you can see here suddenly you have a lot of dots that doesn't make sense to me. Okay, so what you want to tell from this graph, it's not even a graph, it's just some dots uh, scattered on y and x axis. So when you tell stories, it has to be in suitable form. Is it suitable to be in graph? Is it suitable in terms of bar charts, pie charts, or it's just tables? Yeah, you can use tables as well. So this one, I don't know, it's very difficult for me to judge that. Yeah. Okay. So I have a lot of actually other types of not so good presentation, but I only choose my students one, okay, because it is confidential. That's why I'm using my own students' presentation. So some good ones, some not so good one. So it's actually based on your skills. But what you want to do is to tell a good story to the viewers. Okay, that is the main aim. Whenever that you want to tell, whether it's proposal, whether it's progress, or whether it's final presentation, or even it is a business proposal. You look into the eye, even if it is online proposal, you look to the eye, and then you know whether they are, following your presentation or they are not following your presentation. And also, iteration. I talk about iteration. Iteration is about improving. You present it by yourself. You improve. So that's why recording presentation is very important, because you can view back and then you can improve again. You can view back, improve again. All right. So I think it's not proper for me to start a new topic, which is on the thesis preparation. We will do it after the semester break. Okay. So next week, I'm traveling back on the 30th, which is the Thursday, which is on Thursday. So I will not be able to do synchronous class. So I'm giving you a recorded video, okay, for next week. Yeah. I'm traveling back on the 30th, so I'm not able to do that. And the week after that is going to be your mid-semester break. Yeah. So you're gonna have a 1 week holiday. And the week after that will be our next lecture. Okay, is it okay with you? Yeah, all right. So any questions? Okay, so look for the assignment in Putra Blast. Okay, so take your time to think about the scope and all that. Make sure that you do a good job. After all this discussion, I hope that you can apply all this presentation, all this discussion into your written proposal as well as recorded presentation. Okay. Any more question? Yeah. If not,
For
yeah.
the first assignment with the 5 slide and 10 minutes, do we need to put in the reference because it's just 5 slide?
No. The one that requires reference is the written.
Okay.
At least some references. Yeah. Okay. All right. So everybody, if there is no more questions, so have a nice rest. I do need it. Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Prof.
Prof.
All right.